Hello fellow doll lovers, it's Janie. Welcome to another video on my channel. This is going to be a number 2 video in a series that I have started, and it's sort of like a chit chat type video, so if you are not interested in that sort of thing where I just talk to you guys about my experiences and things, then you can feel free and not watch this video and go check out some of the other stuff I have on my channel. I don't do chit chats very often just because I'm worried that it's going to be boring to you guys. But last time I did a chit chat, which was the start of a series called Who Am I, where I basically just tell you things about myself, I did one about why I started my YouTube channel. I got a lot of people saying that they wanted another one of me explaining why I got into doll collecting, what made me get into collecting dolls. So that is what this video is going to be about today. I'm just going to talk to you guys and tell you some experiences and tell you how I got into dolls and what it was that made this person right here decide to start collecting dolls, and now I have almost 2,000 of them. So it's going to be a fun video if you guys just like getting to know me and stuff like that. I'm just going to be sharing basically why I started collecting dolls and what my doll journey is, I guess. I apologize if the lighting is really weird. I'm still trying to get things figured out. I am back down where hopefully the lighting's better than the last few videos. It was really dark and I really don't know what the deal was, but thank you guys for sticking with me anyways. Hopefully you guys aren't watching my videos for the professionalism of it, because if you are, you've come to the wrong place. My videos are anything but professional. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I don't have a script or anything, so if this gets very tangent-y, then I apologize to you guys, but I just wanted to sort of keep it real. So I got my first Barbie when I was around like 2 years old, 3 years old-ish, and she was a Ballerina Barbie. Now, I was super excited about this because ever since I knew what ballet was, I wanted to be a ballet dancer. And it was the Sugar Plum Princess / Clara Barbie from the Barbie movie Barbie and the Nutcracker. That had come out just after I was born in around 2002, and the dolls came out in 2003, 2004. And my parents got me the Sugar Plum Fairy Barbie, and I was around 2 or 3. I remember that I had either just started ballet classes or I hadn't even started them yet, and I was so over the moon because I loved Barbies and I loved ballet, and I was just super excited. And I hadn't even seen the movie yet. When I was younger, I did not want to watch ballet themed cartoons. I wanted to watch real theater ballet. So I did not watch Angelina Ballerina. I did not watch Barbie and the Nutcracker. I watched like professional ballet performances. I didn't want any of the cartoon stuff. But I was still very excited to have the doll because it was a little ballerina for me to play with. And I played with her so much. I still have her, but she is so messed up. One of her ankles is broken. She does still have her outfit, but one of her ankles is broken off. Her hair is matted beyond reason. I want to do a video where I give her some TLC and I actually fix her up for you guys, but it's going to be quite a process. But she was my very first Barbie. And my parents got me more after that. I used to go to rummage sales and stuff with my grandma when she came to town, and me and my family, we're sort of the kind of family that likes to go garage sailing and thrifting together just for fun. And I would see Barbies after that, and I'd want to play with them, so my parents would pick me up some Barbies and stuff. And my dad's involved in real estate, so sometimes when he buys and sells used houses. So whenever he goes to some houses, sometimes there's stuff from previous owners left behind, and sometimes there were dolls there, and he would always bring them home for me. And I just really started loving dolls from there. I really liked Disney princesses like any little girl, and I remember when Mattel was still making their Disney princesses, and they were being sold at Walmart for like $11 or $12 each, and my dad would take me to Walmart and get them for me. I had a lot of them. I mentioned in my Christmas presents video that was sort of a thing that I had. I had Aurora, and I had Snow White, I had Ariel, I had Belle, I had Cinderella. I had a bunch of them, and they all had different things. I always pretended that Aurora was like a school teacher. I liked Snow White the least, so she was like a peasant or something like that. And Cinderella was pretty much just Cinderella. I liked Belle the most, and I used her for a lot of different things. And I still have really fond memories of my dad taking me to Walmart and picking out a Disney princess doll for me. And I unfortunately don't have any of them anymore, except I have my Belle. but I'm slowly in the process of re-grabbing and re-collecting those. I went through a phase when I was like, I don't know. My dad had this rule for quite a long time. Once I started really like getting a bunch of dolls from thrift stores and garage sales and stuff, he made a rule saying how you can buy as many dolls as you, not as many dolls as you want, but however many dolls you buy at either a thrift store or a garage sale or something, you have to go through the dolls you already have, and that's how many you have to get rid of. So if you buy 5 dolls at a thrift store, you have to go home and find 5 Barbies to get rid of. And that was his rule, and there were a lot of dolls during that time that I got rid of that I necessarily didn't want to. And then there were some times when I just felt like purging my doll collection. Being a very organized, central person and liking to be really organized and stuff, a lot of times I would just purge my room and stuff just for the, just for the fun of cleaning it out and getting rid of stuff. And a lot of dolls got rid of that way, and I am still in the process of trying to get some of those back because I regretted getting rid of them. But that was sort of the way it was. I bought dolls at thrift stores with my grandma and with my mom and my dad when we would go for like special occasions. And I would also get dolls for Christmas and birthdays and special occasions and stuff. I remember my grandma was the one to do with getting me a lot of dolls. But I remember in 2011, I believe, I was in Cinderella and I was a fairy, just some arbitrary fairy, but I wore a purple costume. And that was when I think that was when Barbie Fairytopia was coming out, either that or Barbie Mariposa. I think it was Mariposa. And right before my performance, or right afterwards, my grandma got me one of the Mariposa fairies, and she was purple. And I thought that that was so exciting because I was a purple fairy in my show, and my grandma got me a purple fairy. So a lot of my dolls that I got brand new, which was not a lot of the time, had something to do with what was going on. Like in another ballet performance, I played another fairy yet again. I was Tinkerbell and Peter Pan, and my grandma went to the Disney store and got me a Tinkerbell doll. So a lot of the Barbies I got new were for sort of occasions like that, and they usually had something to do with either, my ballet performances or things that I liked in particular. My parents never just got me just a random Barbie off the shelves. They always had something to do with something that I liked, that were my interests. So I got a lot of Ballerina Barbies, obviously. I got a lot of Princess Barbies, and I got a lot of, dolls that had roles like I was. In my ballet performances, and all of the other dolls I had in my collection I got from either garage sales or from thrift stores, and that was pretty much the way it was throughout my life. My parents would get me dolls after that first one just to celebrate doing things. And I remember there was one time where I had a babysitter that I really liked, and she took me out just to like have a fun day, just her and me, and she went to the store, and this was like right when the new Barbie fashionista waves were being released. So they had like the tropical fashionista Barbie, so they had like that Raquel who had like the red dress, and then they had the Barbie who had the bangs, and she had like the sort of tropical themed outfit, and then they had the Summer who had the pink tank top and like the green like tropical themed pants. And I picked out one of those Barbies. I have very fond memories of being able to pick out Barbies brand new as rewards, especially as I started getting older. I started getting into dolls a lot more. It was mainly Barbie in the beginning, Barbie and Disney, and I didn't really collect anything else for a long time. I remember when at my church they had some sort of like prizes if you remembered like a certain Bible verse, and there was a La-Di-Da doll there which I won, and I feel really bad that I got rid of her. She was the watermelon themed one. I named her Melanie because I liked puns, and I got rid of her. But I would just get dolls from things like that. And let's see, I got dolls for rewards and stuff, like I said. Mainly as I got older, I jumped on the Ever After High and Monster High bandwagon really late, especially Monster High, but my first Ever After High doll was Hat-tastic Tea Party Apple White, so that was when the Hat-tastic Tea Party line was coming out. I remember I got her as a gift from my dad. I got her at like either Family Dollar or Dollar General. That was way back when they sold real Barbie stuff. And then I got Alistair. He was my second Ever After High doll. I got Alistair Wonderland from Walmart. He was my second Ever After High doll, so I had those two And then I started getting really into the show. This was, around the time Ever After High dolls were coming out. And I did not get into Monster High until a lot later. Actually, if you go back to my earliest YouTube channel videos, you see how small my Monster High collection was. They fit on one shelf. I literally had like 10. And you can see my collection grow from there actually over the course of my channel, because my parents at first didn't really want me to have Monster High because, I don't know, they didn't like the idea of having monster dolls. But then, I showed them the show and I was like, they're just the kids of monsters, and they're like, there's good morals, it's okay, they're not scary monsters. They let me reluctantly start getting them. And then just after that, as my collection started growing, I used to have very specific tastes of what I liked in a doll, and then I started appreciating lots of different types. And then once I got older and my parents realized that doll collecting was just a hobby that I liked to do, my dad stopped making me get rid of them, as long as I didn't go crazy and just start buying dolls just because I wanted to buy them, as long as there was like an actual reason for picking them out, like there's a specific reason I like them. As long as I'm not just like all of the dolls, which was not the case. So then my collection started growing, and then if you guys check out my why I started my YouTube channel video, you already know this, but I was getting pretty old by that time. I was like 12 or 13 years old, and a lot of my friends had outgrown dolls, and my collection was only growing. So I was feeling a little bit awkward because I really did like dolls still, and I was enjoying collecting them and finally starting to get more. And people were like sort of making fun of me a little bit. So that's why I started my YouTube channel, just because I knew from watching YouTube that there was a doll community out there. And I kind of did it so that I could see people appreciate my dolls and, have some support. But then as I sort of got more confident in my doll collecting, then I, made my channel more into supporting other people who may feel a little bit more awkward about having a doll collection when they're older than they should be, and just spreading the joy of doll collecting. So now you pretty much don't even have to go and watch that video, because I just explained the whole point of my channel in a nutshell, but I'll link that video anyway in case you feel like seeing it. It's not a very professional setting. There isn't even a backdrop. I was literally just sitting on my bed because I just felt like filming it one day and I figured that I would film it. But that's when I started my YouTube channel, and then my channel just kind of grown from there. And I didn't always used to restore them. I used to just buy them and then dress them. But then, I started realizing, hey, the dolls that I buy that have really tangled hair, that are really dirty, all I have to do is wash them and brush their hair, and they would look so much better. I remember one of the very first dolls I ever actually restored, and she was an Eden Starling doll from A Christmas Carol, and her hair was so matted and so horrible. And I washed it and brushed it out, and it looked so much better, and I was like awestruck. So then I got out all my dolls and I started like fixing all of them up, and I have evolved a lot since then in like my methods and how to clean them properly, and doing flat ironing and boil washes and acetone and benzoyl peroxide stain removal. I have come a lot since then, but I started restoring dolls, I think, probably when I was like 11 or 10 years old. So I had been collecting dolls since I was like 3, and it took me that many years to actually start fixing them up, even though pretty much that entire time I'd been buying dolls used from thrift stores. I think one of the thrift store dolls, my very first ones that I ever bought, was one of the Barbie Fairytopia Fairy Barbies. She is one of the blue ones. She came in a 2-pack, if you guys know which one I'm talking about. I got her at a thrift store in Georgia that my family and I went to for a church conference. And I bought her along with a Beauty and the Beast stuffed animal. And I also bought a Barbie Mermaidia Alina doll. They were all 3 there at the same time. I still have the 2 Barbies. I do not have Beast anymore, unfortunately. But I still remember picking them out. I thought it was super cool that this gorgeous fairy Barbie was only like $1 at this used store. And I think I was like 5 or 6 at that point. So I was pretty young, but it had been a couple years after I started collecting. And then I did used to get dolls from rummage sales even before that. I remember, this is a really funny memory. I remember I used to go thrifting every year on my birthday. My grandma would come down from Wisconsin to visit me on my birthday. And I remember it was my 6th birthday. And I realized that if I told the people at the garage sale that it was my birthday, that a lot of times they'd give me stuff for free. So I'd so adorably go up to them and I'd have my little armful of dolls and I'd be like, today's my birthday. And they'd be like, oh, well, you can have those. And then I was all like, hey, 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 free Barbies. It was very diabolical of me, but I was so cute when I was 6. And it was my 6th birthday. And I went around all the thrift stores, and that stopped working once I turned like 10 or 11. But it was good for a while. I got lots of free dolls that way because I went thrifting for my birthday. But I specifically remember taking my armful of dolls up to this lady, and I was like, today's my birthday. And she's like, really? How old are you? And I'm like, 6. And she's like, wow, happy birthday. Why don't you go ahead and have those? And I was like, yes. So I was a little bit of a of a diabolical child back then, but that is pretty much my journey from that. It's not very linear. It wasn't very organized at all, but hopefully out of this entire video you got some sort of idea of why I started collecting dolls and sort of my journey up until this point. And I hope this is the kind of video that you enjoy. If not, do let me know, and I will, start making other kinds of videos. But in case you were, because I did have some people request this video, I hope that those of you who enjoyed it did really like it. And if you did, consider liking it and, leaving a comment talking about when you started collecting dolls and your doll collecting journey. I would really love to hear about it. I'm very interested to hear y'all's stories. And I will link the previous Chit Chat Who Am I video down in the description, just in case you're interested in seeing, just talking about why I started my YouTube channel and everything. And, consider subscribing and all that jazz if you like my videos and you want to see more, and turn on post notifications so that when I do upload some new stuff, you'll know about it. And until next time, thank y'all so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye!